There are those who challenge me when I need it most, and others whose life challenges require my support.
Hi hearties, welcome back to the Teacup Trail. We are on episode 3 of season 7. I want to give a shout out to Canada. I found this hat the other day and I was thinking it had been a long time since I wore this hat. I wore it every time I go to Canada and it has been, I think, 3 years since I went there the last time. And the last time I was in St. Andrews, St. John, New Brunswick, and I had my first whale watch tour in Canada, so that was fun. And just missed that country, and especially with the COVID, travel had been tough. So I just want to give a shout out to all the Canadian hearties, and I have to say, Vancouver is my favorite place in Canada. I wish I spent more time, but I only had one night over there because the next day I had a trip booked with a cruise to Alaska. I love the layout. If you take me to a city by the water, that's my go-to. But this scene, I started off with Elizabeth writing in her journal, and I like how the editing team showed Lucas bringing tea over to Elizabeth as she typed for her novel at the library. And in that scene of Lucas and Elizabeth talk about people that challenge her when she needs the most, and I think that speaks high volume of Lucas and Elizabeth friendship. She really didn't have anyone that challenged her like the way Jack did. Like Rosemary supported her and Abigail too, but she didn't really have someone that challenged her like to the highest level since Jack died. Shows that Lucas does challenge her, especially with her writing journey, and it means a lot to Elizabeth, and she seemed very focused and very ambitious in finishing her novel. Those words are important to keep in mind going forward. And then we saw Nathan going to the jail and glancing over his father, and Elizabeth was talking over that scene and mentioned about the other people in her life, like a different group of people in her life that need her support. And that shows that Elizabeth doesn't see Nathan much more than just a friend. Like in this moment, like she just doesn't see him as a possible romantic relationship down the road. She just like, I'm here as a friend, I'm here to support you, and Allie, and just be there for you guys, with whatever challenges life may throw at you. I think like the scale between what she said with Nathan and Lucas, it's like so much different. I just feel like with what she said about Lucas is more intimate, if that makes sense. So it's just like very personal, but with Nathan, with that open mutual friendship, like nothing intimate between her and Nathan. I hope that makes sense.
Allie, what happened?
I can't stay at our house.
Is this about your grandpa? Does your uncle know you're here?
He would have just tried to stop me.
Well, I think we need to have a little chat with him.
I'm not talking to him right now.
Maybe he could explain.
He doesn't listen, especially when it comes to Grandpa. He won't even let me see him.
Elizabeth did not expect that. Allie showing up at Elizabeth's house. Elizabeth is like the second closest adult in her life, after her uncle. It shows that tight bond between Elizabeth and Allie. She's not the parent of Allie. Nathan is the only one that can make decision on whether Allie should see her grandfather or not. Of course, Elizabeth will talk to Nathan because she can't really do anything about Allie.
Where is she now?
At church with Lee and Rosemary.
I'm sorry she's dragging you into this. She has a tendency to overreact sometimes.
This isn't the first time she's done this?
No. Check her suitcase. I'm sure it's empty.
I did. It isn't.
Again, like I said many times, 99.99% of the conversation is about Allie. Nathan trusts Elizabeth to the point where anything that is wrong with Allie, or like any good or bad news about Allie, Elizabeth will tell Nathan like immediately. And the friendship is like getting really close. Have this open communication, open honesty, especially concerning the safety and well-being of Allie. I don't see anything romantic, going on in this episode. So far, as well as the last episode too. It's just lately the storyline is highly focused on Allie's grandfather. Again, Elizabeth didn't have to be involved, but she cares so much for Allie that she's willing to be there for Allie, even though she can't really do much, and that she's there to support Nathan and just help him to make the right choice in this situation.
Okay, I'll talk to her after church. Are you going? Because I could walk you.
Great. She's just very confused, Nathan.
Yes, I know. I should have never let him stay in Hope Valley.
I love that.
But I wanted to add in another note. If you pay close attention when Nathan asked her if she wanted to walk to church together with him, her facial expression seemed a little bit off, like she didn't want to go to church together with Nathan, like walk side by side. I think she didn't want to draw some attention from the other people at church, and it's kind of like a helpful thing to do, like walking side by side, man and woman, you know what I mean? Like she didn't want to make it look like there's something personal or intimate going on between the two. She just like kind of like hesitated a little bit. And look at giving that look when Elizabeth and Nathan walk in together at the church. That look is like, that look when you give when you see someone that you like with the other person that you don't like at all. Like, start to feel a little bit jealous. Yeah, that's the look. That Lucas gave. And Nathan saw Lucas watching him, and yeah, the love triangle came back.
I'll stop by the library later.
Excuse me, Allie.
So,
I hope this makes sense. Nathan mentioned to Elizabeth earlier that he would talk to Allie after church, and Nathan walked over to them after church, and Elizabeth saw him, and she walked away from Allie so Nathan can talk to Allie. I thought it was a nice moment between Nathan and Elizabeth, like to have this mental connection, like they can read each other's mind, and Elizabeth remembered that Nathan wanted to talk to Allie right after church, so it's like Elizabeth read his mind and stepped away from Allie all of a sudden, so Nathan can have that opportunity to talk to Allie.
This can't be easy for her.
yeah, I know firsthand it isn't.
Do you really think you stole that necklace?
That's the thing about criminals. They usually don't stop. What?
Nothing.
Oh, what is it?
What if this time he's innocent?
The Mounties at Benson Hills had enough to put a warrant out.
Right, but does that mean he did it?
He was throwing money around at the saloon.
Right, but you said he had an explanation.
He always has an explanation.
Look, it is none of my business, but what if this time he really is telling the truth?
Ethan's mind is so clouded right now. He's just like, my father is a bad person. No matter what, he is a bad person. And Elizabeth trying to open Nathan's eyes and mind. Like, what if there's a possibility that your father did not commit that crime? So Nathan listening to Elizabeth and just hearing what she needs to say, I think that shows how close their friendship is, and Nathan trusts her enough to say what she needs to say. Like, Nathan is so reserved. Like, he's a private man. He's very quiet too, especially when we first met him. And you get to see this open door that he gave to Elizabeth, and Elizabeth be able to tell him what is on her mind. Like, she'd be able to tell him as it is.
He bought a couple of rounds. Made quite a few friends that night.
How much money was he flashing around?
Couldn't say. It's quite a bit.
Is there anything else you can tell me?
He was a friendly guy. Played darts for a while. He stayed late.
Any cards?
No. I'm sorry that your dad is in trouble. Can't be easy.
I'm used to it.
Elizabeth pep talk to Nathan, encouraged him to investigate a little bit more. He went to the saloon, asked question to Lucas. Lucas was very nice. He complied and answered all the questions that Nathan asked him. At the same time, Lucas is very understanding. It's a tough family situation.
I'll meet you inside.
Hello?
Hi.
So how's the writing coming along?
I have already written a few chapters.
Well, you work fast. Anything you want to share?
I'm not sure it's quite ready yet.
Sooner or later, you're gonna have to show somebody. Unless you want to keep it hidden in your desk drawer forever. But I have read your work before.
All right. But remember, it is still a work in progress.
I won't forget. Why don't you drop the pages by the saloon?
I will.
Like, she saw Lucas coming down the stairs, and she's like, ooh, I'm gonna take this opportunity to talk to Lucas. Like, everyone, get out. Like, not in the mean way, but it's just like, she wanted to have that private conversation with Lucas. She glanced over the stairs like 2 or 3 times in the beginning of her conversation with Lucas. Like, she kept like looking over, like she didn't want her friends or anyone to see that she having this fun little secret conversation with Lucas. Lucas did glance over the stair too, and I don't know, I just feel like they were very protective of the conversation. I think they didn't want anyone to like listen or watch them talking, because the conversation are very friendly at the point, you know, like they are good friends and they have the little secret project that they're doing together, which is her novel. Elizabeth is still very protective of her novel. It's something very dear to her, and Lucas already read her first book, which is the collection of the short stories. She trusted Lucas big time when she gave her first book to him. Lucas wanted to read a piece of her novel, and she hesitated a little bit. She really doesn't want to like open up her heart again, like right now. She knows that Lucas will be an honest person to her. Like, he will tell her as it is. She's somewhat calmed her nerve by mentioning that he did read her first book, and she's like, haha, you trying to get a pass to read my novel, like that's not happening. But she gave in and told him that she would give him an excerpt from her upcoming novel.
Okay.
How's the writing going?
It's coming along.
It's good. I'm heading to Benson Hills for...
To see about the stolen necklace.
Yes. Yeah, I should be gone for a day or two. I was wondering if,
I would be happy to look after Allie.
Are you sure?
We'll bake cookies and play games. It'll be fun.
You know, she just has such an ease around you. She really needs us right now, so thank you.
Of course.
Elizabeth, looked over first, and then Lucas followed and looked over to Nathan, too, and, I don't know, just Lucas knew that he had to leave. Expected Nathan and Elizabeth friendship. Elizabeth seemed to did not want the conversation to end with Lucas, her facial expression, I don't want to be rude, but I know Nathan wants to talk to me, and Lucas just kind of had that mental connection to I need to leave. And Nathan walking up to Elizabeth, Nathan automatically asked her about her writing. At first I was like, did he overhear their last bits of Lucas and Elizabeth conversation? I don't know, I thought it was a little bit random because we don't really see much of Nathan and Elizabeth talking about the novel since the last time they talked about it at the pond. Nathan liked Elizabeth, let's just say that. He liked Elizabeth, and he indirectly told Elizabeth that he liked her. But instead of saying that he put his niece Allie as a replacement. Of course Allie liked her. It's all confusing. I just feel part of the scene is mixed signal, especially with the facial expression on Elizabeth's face and how the conversation went with Lucas and Nathan. I just feel Lucas was very casual and very easygoing, and Nathan was very intimate, I don't know, just very, I don't know what to say, it's very intense, if that makes sense. It's just these guys like Elizabeth, but Lucas just easygoing, he doesn't put any pressure. But with Nathan, it's just he literally almost told Elizabeth how he felt, but instead he talked about Allie. So I don't know if that makes sense. Feel free to say what you think it is, but at the end of the scene, I'm the look on Elizabeth's face, I'm girl, you're sending me mixed signal. What's going on? But I truly believe, number one, that she is starting to realize that there are two guys trying to get her attention. I hope you've been enjoying season 7 with me. Thank you for following along and listening to my rant. But feel free to talk to me and tell me what you think on YouTube in the comment section below, or on Twitter. I do have a Twitter handle. It's in the description below. I hope you having a great weekend, and I will see you on Wednesday with the second half of season 7, episode 3. I'll see you there. Bye.